This is dubious code with some information on using how to use lists in Python. All right, so a list is one of the basic data structures in Python, and you're probably going to use it quite a bit. There's quite a number of different features to it, so I'm not going to go over all of them, and honestly, I don't remember all of them. But these are some of the basic ones. So you start a list with these square braces, and that is different from a dictionary, which you would start with curly braces, or a set, or a tuple, sorry, which you would start with parentheses. So a list has square braces. And you can start the list with values in it. And the values don't have to be all the same type, so it could be one, apple, two, true. They could be different types. So some of the important things on a list, we have to be able to add to the list, we have to be able to go enumerate through the list, we have to be able to sort it. So let's do some of that. To get through all the elements in the list, we can use a for loop. So like for element in list, print element. And I keep forgetting to put parentheses around this. Print element. For element in list one. So I can't just... So we've gone through each element, printed out. One pretty useful thing that you might want to do is if you want to get the element and its index, you can go for I, then value, and enumerate. Enumerate's the key word here. So now we'll print. Now we'll get the value. Value. Index. We'll get the value in its index. And that could be useful if you wanted to, maybe you wanted to be like, if value equals 5, list 1 sub I equals 25. If you wanted to change something. Of course, you could always just go through the whole, enumerate the whole range. So you could go for I in range, the length of the list. And then you would need to get a given value out of the list. And you do that once again with square braces. So you can square brackets. So you can say print list 1 sub I. To access a value in the list, you use the square brackets and then the index number. We can do that again. We're printing. Let's see. Some other nice things about the list. The lists have some decent functions. Let's say we want to add to the list. List1.append will add to the end of a list. Append adds to the end of a list, and it is time order of 1, so it's constant time. Insert list1.insert value at index 1 will insert into the list. One important thing to know about lists in Python is that they are 0-base indexed. And I did that in reverse order. I actually don't use insert that much, but index and then value. So 0 base index, very important to remember in Python. So if I wanted to access this first value, I would have to use a 0. And so since I inserted at index 1, it went here. It went before these values, and everything else shifted down. That makes a list insert a linear time operation. We can insert. We could pop from the list. So print list1.pop. Pop is going to remove the last element. If you don't give it any other value, it's going to remove the last element. And we print list1 again. We're going to see that the 10 is gone. What am I missing there? Pop, descriptor of pop of list objects needs an argument. It must need looks like it needs a pop for list objects doesn't apply to int object. Oh. I'm missing it because I'm calling my variable list1 and I typed list. Okay, that should work. So we popped 10 out, we can then use it, and it is, missing from this list. If we wanted to pop a different index, let's say we wanted to remove this 4. This 4 is going to be at index 0, 1, 2, 3, except we've inserted 1. So if we wanted to pop index 4 out, and we get 4 and it's missing from here. One nice thing about lists, I really like how Python does list slices, and I especially like how they do negative numbers. So let's say I say print list1 sub, let's remove these guys and just work 1 through 6. I can print it sub 2, and that's going to get me value 3. Now let's say I wanted the very end of a list. I wanted something second from the last. If I put -1, that's going to start counting from the end. So -1 is going to return me the value 6. -2 would return me the value 5. So the negative numbers are fun. They're pretty useful. If I want to copy to another list, I can take a slice. So list2 equals list1 sub slice. Make a full slice. So this on the left of the slice is the starting value. So this is the same as saying from 0 to length list1. And I can print list2. So this is the equivalent to if I just had the empty braces here. But I don't have to take the full slice. I could take, a slice from the third index to the, second to last one. Take a partial slice. And when I do this slice, it makes a shallow copy. That's useful, that's fine for these integers, but if I had more complicated objects in the list, be aware that's making a shallow copy and not a deep copy. We have, what else is pretty useful for lists? 10, 5, 3, 15, 18, 15 again. Lists have a built-in sort. So I can go print list1, list1.sort, 1, we can see that it's going to sort them. There's a bunch of different options you have for this sort, but that's enough, complicated enough to save for, a whole different video. I believe lists have a reverse feature on them. Yep, so you can reverse a list, which can be pretty useful in different cases. I've used a reverse list when making merge sorts before. You can add a list to one list to another list with the extend list 2. List 1 extend list 2. We'll see that list net 1 now has gotten longer. If I had instead of extend, if I had used append, then what I will do is I will add this list as another element at the end of this list. So I'll have, list 1 would then have 5 integers and then a list as its last element. So let's see what that looks like. So we say, here's a list, but now my 6th element, so element sub 5 is another list. So if I said print list 1 sub 5, I'm not just printing a single value, I'm printing that list. Let's see, list.remove will remove the first value of a given index from a list. We'll go through, and the first time it encounters a value matching the value that you give it, it will remove it. So if I say list.remove 5 from this list, it will remove this value. Well, it might be overloaded. I'm probably not understanding something. This is probably now will remove the second value. List index out of range. Oh, the remove worked. The print didn't work. Okay, so I'm going to remove this value. But if it's not in the list, like let's say I give it a 7, then I get this error. And if I have 2 of them in the list, let's say I have another 5 at the end, it removes the first one, but not the last one. Let's see. Well, that's a number of the list basics. There's a lot I haven't covered. Sorting, you can get a lot more in depth with sorting. Slicing, you can get a lot more in depth. But yeah, there's a lot to know about Python lists. This is list basics, but they're a pretty useful data structure. Once again, this is Dubious Code. Thank you for watching.